Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of Path of Vengeance. And I actually got a couple questions on some of the comments and got some stuff on Twitter asking me to explain some of my builds and the item paths that I like to go. So we're going to go ahead and look into my item paths here. So I actually just customized this. I usually just had to type everything in. But generally my idea is at lower elo and matches where I don't think my support will help all that much, I like to go Cole. You'll see me go Cole on most matchups, especially when I'm in the lower elo. I know that because I know I'm going to have a more insurance policy on gold later on. But in lanes like where I know I need to get that extra, I need that skirmishing power, and I need the extra health here, I will take the Doran's Blade. So lanes with something like a Blitzcrank, a Nautilus, a Thresh, so stuff where we're literally going to be fighting all the time, Doran's Blade is definitely going to be the go, and Doran's Blade is usually what you want to go in lanes that you know are going to be competitive, because you might need that extra 80 health, could be the difference maker in a fight. And obviously you have the Red Pot in our ward. Black Spear is a must because you do need to become Oathsworn to your allies, and it's a very, very rare situation where you don't want to become Oathsworn to your support. There are very rare situations where, let's say you're duo with the jungler and you have something like a Yuumi support or maybe a Soraka, where even with the W passive being only stackable on your Oathsworn, and you have something like, a Sejuani jungle, or something that has really good engage, throwing a Sejuani into a team fight is really good and really valuable. So if you don't think you're going to be doing a lot of fighting in the laning phase and you just want to invest, or you think that your jungler is going to gank you a lot, being able to use your ult on your jungler is really good as well. And obviously, like if you're playing Kalista top, you always want to be Oathsworn to your jungler, so things like that. Now always remember, like I forget a lot, but always remember to switch out to your blue trinket later in the game. Gives you a lot less hassle into face checking bushes if you need to get some vision. Also, if you need in the early game to switch for a refillable pot, it's there if you need it. So we have, we gotta switch this out. We have our rush items. So this obvious in very, very rare situations do you not want to be rushing Zerker Greaves. The movement and the attack speed are so important to getting that early power spike on Kalista. Kalista is nothing without her movement and her attack speed, so always rush your boots, guys. And then we want to go straight into our Blade of the Ruined King. Blade of the Ruined King is this the busted one? Hang on. I don't know. So I know there's 2 of them. No, there's not. They fixed it. So Blade of the Ruined King, I know back when you used to make them, there was literally 2 regular ones and one just wouldn't show up. But anyway, so you want to be rushing your Blade of the Ruined King. If you can go Cutlass first, great. And if you have the ability to get a Vamp Scepter and back at 900 gold, pretty solid. Or if you are a baller and you want to go for the damage, you can go ahead and go straight into the Cutlass. It's in certain situations if you have maybe 600 gold left over. Or maybe 650 and you want to go longsword dagger, completely understandable. But generally you want to be backing at that 900 gold mark, the 1600 gold mark. But if you have a good back, or if you shove the wave, or you want to get a cheater recall in, you can go ahead and get that 600 gold double dagger buy, totally fine. And then after that, Ruinant's Hurricane, obviously the extra passive on your Ren stacks coming out from the Ruinant's Hurricane bolts. So it just basically adds more spears for the party, makes your wave clear amazing, and it's just a really essential item on Kalista. Going forward, this is kind of more build dependent. We can talk about that in a little bit, but generally a lot of higher elo players will go and choose Razor Blade. The on-hit passive is great. The extra attack speed is good. You get the AD. You get the on-hit passive of the magic damage, so pretty solid all around. Plus, you will get extra Ren stacks from that passive. It's really, really powerful. So getting the Jinsu's Rage Blade is definitely a snowball item. And the rest of the items are going to be mostly situational. So if you're going into a highly magic-based team, or if the only person that you can foresee yourself getting killed by on the enemy team is magic damage, but you still are in a position to snowball, Wit's End is a great item, guys. You get that MR, which will save you in fights. That could be the difference maker in winning and losing a fight, or getting one shot and not getting one shot. Is this a little bit of magic damage? So let's say the enemy Syndra is fat. So let's say you dodge their stun, and Syndra does the classic just push R on you. You might live that if you have the little bit of MR. And also if they're a full attack damage based team, When you're a little behind, Phantom Dancer is not a bad option. You get that extra crit chance and the extra move speed on top of the attack speed. Definitely not a bad option. I very rarely go PD, if ever, but it's definitely a worthwhile option if the situation demands it. Plus, the Lifeline passive with the extra last second shield gives you that extra survivability you might need in a fight. Going forward, also, I personally love this item. Frozen Mallet is an as-needed item, so let's say you're ahead enough, but they are a good amount of mixed damage, getting that extra health. So health does not discriminate, you know? If you build tank, you're still weak to magic. If you build MR, you're still weak to tank. If you build health, you're just more healthy, you know? So getting that extra damage, getting the extra health, and the slow passive from the Mallet tech, shout outs to my main man, Voy Boy. It's solid to go ahead and build that Mallet. It's definitely a solid option on Kalista. Black Cleaver, if you're ahead, you want to stay strong, and you also need that Armor Shred passive on the sort of Armor Shred built into the Black Cleaver. Definitely a solid pickup. There was a point where, and also the CDR is pretty solid. So there was a solid point where you see this commonly built on MF, commonly built on Lucian. Still pretty solid on Kalista, but again, it's pretty situational if there's a lot of pretty tanky enemies on the team. Pretty solid, and if you want to stay ahead. Also, of course, we have the Mortal Reminder. Pretty self-explanatory. Everyone's built it more than once in their life. You have the Executioner with the Grievous Wounds for 800 gold. Just sitting on an Executioner's, if the enemy team has something like a Vladimir, a Soraka, a Yumi, definitely an early pickup that could be worth it. Plus, it's only 800 gold out of your way. And the Last Whisper, of course, with the Armor Pen. So if you have a Garen, a Rost form Kane, definitely a really solid pickup for a Mortal Reminder. And then we have our MR plus damage items. We have the QSS into Mercurial Scimitar, QSS being to remove all crowd control, as well as the plus 50% bonus movement speed for 1 second, just to get you out, like sort of get out of jail free card. Plus you get the AD, the MR, and the lifesteal. So it's built out of a Vamp Scepter on top of a pickaxe. So you do get the damage, you do get the lifesteal on top of the QSS. QSS is going to be one of those key items that you could sit on for a while and then complete the item later. And then similarly to that, you can build a Hex Drinker, which has the same passive as a Phantom Dancer. So please do not stack these items. The abilities do not stack. You won't be able to stack your Lifeline on the Phantom Dancer and the Maw of Maliortis? Whatever. Maw. It's a Maw. So you won't be able to stack your Lifeline passive on both them. So I would recommend, if there's a lot of AP, building that Hex Drinker, and then you can sit on it and complete it later. An item that I actually don't have in here that is worth bringing up is the Death Stance. So Death Stance is a pretty solid item overall. It did get nerfed on ranged champions, so that is pretty unfortunate, but is still really strong. So it's passive for melee users 30% and ranged users, which got recently nerfed to 10%, is damage taken is a result of a bleed effect over 3% instead. So it will give you a lot more tank going forward. It's still a pretty solid item on Kalista. After the nerf, it's not the guaranteed third item anymore. Previously, I would have had this sitting here, oh my goodness, sitting right in front of previously, before the nerf, I would have had this sitting here, which case it would have been almost an instant third buy. But at this point, it is going to be more of a situational buy because of its recent nerf. So that's my items going forward. This is going to be the item page you're going to see from now on. And now we can go ahead and jump into my rune pages. So the rune pages, I switch between two based on the situation. We'll talk about the more common one is going to be the Hail of Blades build. Hail of Blades, you see almost every single LCS, LEC, and pro player use this because Kalista is known as the early game monster powerhouse demon of the bot lane. So generally, if you build a Kalista, you are in a full team in that situation. You're in communication with your whole team as well as your support. You know exactly how to build around it. You have an engaged support. You're going to be catering to Kalista's strengths here. So this is a situation where If I get a Blitzcrank, a Thresh, a Nautilus, a Set especially, I love Set support, I will take the Hail of Blades build. Hail of Blades, you gain a large amount of attack speed for the first 3 attacks made against enemy champions, meaning you get the first 3 spears, first 3 round stacks getting ready, all up in there, and at level 1, level 2, level 3, those will make the difference. So going into our secondary builds, we have Taste of Blood, heal when you damage an enemy, pretty straightforward. Eyeball Collection, which I think is the only rune worth taking in this page if you are outside the jungle, and or if you're not support, which very few supports take Domination Tree anyway. And then Ravenous Hunter, unique takedowns gain permanent healing from ability damage. So we have lots of lifesteal, and so that's why we go into our Precision Tree and we take Overheal. Overheal will get excess healing, will become a shield. So we have lots of healing on this side. We're going to be rushing Blade of the Ruin King with more healing. If we have an Alistar, he does have that pass ability, which will give us a little bit of health. So there will be situations like if we have a healing support, this is very strong. I like to take it anyway, but sometimes if you don't have a healing support, I have seen people take Triumph. Some people even take Presence of Mind, but I prefer to stick on the Overheal just in case I will have just a little bit of shield started off in the beginning of a fight, and that could be the difference maker. And then Alacrity, attack speed's great on Kalista. Let's get more of it. And then the first 2 are definitely are kind of like must-haves. You must have that plus 10 attack speed, extra adaptive force. You're the AD carry, you got to do damage. And then the last one's kind of like situational. You can switch it around. So if it's like a lot of AD heavy enemy team, you go defense. If it's mixed, you go health. And if it's a lot of magic damage, you go MR. Generally, I kind of sit on health if I'm paying a lot of attention, but this is generally, I don't really touch this build. So this is definitely a solid Kalista build, which strongly recommended. It is the one that you see every single OP.GG, Mobalytics, Porofest, or whatever those League of Legends help services are going to be recommending this build. Now, this is a build that I use in lower elo, and when I don't know who my support is, or if my support is a enchanter, if my support is a damage support, something like a Vel'Koz, a Brand, and this is the Lethal Tempo build. Now, it's also used into heavy CC and slow heavy enemy team comps for this reason over here, and we'll discuss that in a minute. So Lethal Tempo, 1.5 seconds after damaging an enemy champion, gain a large amount of attack speed. Lethal Tempo allows you also to extend, go over the attack speed cap. For a lot of people who don't know, you can only have a certain amount of attack speed before you don't gain more attack speed. If your Lethal Tempo procs when you're at your max, you will go over it. So there will be a couple clips where you'll see me throw a ridiculous amount of spears with this build because I have exceeded the attack speed cap. Now, this is where we kind of have a little bit more fun with the build. I think a Triumph with this build is great because you don't have any lifesteal built into this build, and we're kind of just going to trying to hit that attack speed cap. This is where I also take Alacrity to get more permanent attack speed, and Cut Down I think is really strong right now, and because I'm taking the precision, the actual primary precision tree, I'm allowed to get that third keystone. So a lot of people would go for Coup de Grace, deal more damage to low health enemies, which is solid, especially with Kalista because you want to get those like low HP Rens. But a lot of the times is you're stacking a lot of damage on the front end of their health bar and expecting all those stacks to bunch up when they're like a third health and then rend it out for a one-shot kill. So I don't think there's a lot of use in this, and this is more of a I'm playing solo and I'm trying to solo carry the game. So if you take Cut Down, deal more damage to champions with more max health than you, this is a very, very solid keystone because Kalista did not get the health buff from the ADC buff a couple weeks ago. So when all the ADCs got more health, Kalista didn't, so this just made this much stronger. So there's now more champions with more health than Kalista in the game currently. So also, then we're going to go into the Resolve Tree, which really brings this whole together. So Bone Plating. After taking damage from an enemy champion, the next 3 spells or attacks you receive will deal 30 to 60 less damage. It's just the best. I think it's honestly the best Resolve rune in the whole tree. Super, super solid rune. Bone Plating is amazing. And Unflinching is where this kind of gets into it. Gain a small amount of tenacity that increases with missing health. Slows murder this champion. Stuns, CC, ruin what makes Kalista great, and that's her mobility. So slows cutting her movement, which also by proxy cuts her attack speed, meaning that if we can get some tenacity somewhere, this is where we want it. So this tree, extra tank, extra tenacity, super solid. And again, same little bubbles here, attack speed, adaptive force, and you can change it as needed. I generally like to keep it on health, but then again, putting it on tank because you're generally into a traditional AD carry, not too bad as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and move that over here. Boop. And yeah, guys, so this is my explanation on my builds and my item path. So hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and enjoy the video. And the fact they're not aggressively poking means that they probably just like don't know what to do against Kali. So they started pool, which sucks. Senna's also doing a pretty good job zoning. So far we're doing good. Resident sleeper laning phase, if I'm honest. Oh yeah, we know Shaco's on the side of the map is the only scary part. Homeboy really trying it down. Of course, the one time I get autofilled jungle, the AD carry's like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll switch. Ain't nothing. And all the gold is on Shaco, so I don't know. Time to carry. It's hard because it's fucking Nasus though. Nasus withers me and I just basically die. Sanguine, Borg, Zerx, BT. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, they're just throwing. Man, it's so winnable. It's actually just so winnable. I'm actually like more attack speed? Yeah. Run, Mr. Zareth. Help me. Hit me? Okay. Sure enough. I thought yeah, I lose games like that. Shaco's strong. I'm strong. Their top, they're all of them are strong. We just put their jungle behind. We're kind of just getting bodied. Oh. That was a decent play though. I fucking attack move clicked behind to dodge the thing. Got a kill, got an extra assist, so it wasn't bad. I think that was really worth my life. Oh, and we got the Caitlyn. And we got the top tower. Oh my god, it's big winnable. Holy fuck, dude. Oh my god, get him! I got a little bit crazy with the flash forward. I didn't know Garen was there. If Garen wasn't there, I just one-shot the fucking Galio, though. Why are all my homies dead? This will be our Ocean Soul. This is huge, especially for Volley and Malphite.